Now, ladies and gentlemen, as Ibo said, the Reggae Open University is really a space where we're able to talk about issues that are facing our industry, the music industry, the entertainment industry. And as a matter of fact, it's always so relevant that we bring players to the table so that we can all not just learn from experiences, but also chart a great path for our reggae industry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, we have a fire discussion coming up for this first staging. I mean, it's just 5 days into Reggae Month, and we've already had a great symposium before on Tuesday. We had a fire session last night because it was tribute night for Reggae Wednesdays, and all of these events are coordinated with JaRIA as well as the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And so I have to tell our sponsors that we really do appreciate them. So the Ministry of Tourism as well, the Chase Fund, the JTB, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, Java, JCDC, Reggaeville, Rhythm Agency, Surfer Reggae and the Reggae Festival Guide, Rhythm Magazine, M1 Productions, Creation Foods, and Ashanti Oasis. Now, remember that you can join in the conversation on Facebook at JaRIA Entertainment. And as a matter of fact, you just go ahead right now on social media, whether it is Instagram, whether it is Facebook, whether it's Twitter, and on the YouTube page, you just look for JaRIA Entertainment, and that's where you're going to be able to find all the events. You can also download the Reggae Month app, and you'll be all filled in for Reggae Month 2021. Now, in Jamaica, March 10, 2020 was the day that we got our first COVID case. And things have not quite been the same since then. The first industry to shut down was the entertainment industry. And almost a year later, because we're in February, we're almost at March, the entertainment industry, especially the events part of it, has not yet reopened. So we all have had to be living in what we're calling the new norm. Now, even though some other industries like the culinary ones, the tourism have somewhat opened, I find that the stakeholders that we have in the music and entertainment industry here in Jamaica have been resilient because they have been coming up with various ways to still give us music, because we well know, because this is what reggae music is based on. In any time that healing is needed for our nation and for the world at large, reggae is what has done it for us. And so this is why we're having this conversation tonight. It's called Opportunities in the Music and Entertainment Industry in this New Normal. So we're going to go through some of the challenges first, but this conversation is solutions based and recommendations based. So my panel is going to be definitely dropping some gems and some bombs as to how we can all survive as we chart this new normal. And so in studio with me, I have Mr. Syed Thomas. Now, Saeed has been working in the entertainment industry on the technical side since 2012 as a stage technician, backstage assistant, and audio tech. He also delved into stage management and audio for film and television. Listen, he is the co-founder and managing director of M1, and M1 is one of the sponsors for Reggae Month, so big up to Saeed for that. And he is also front of house engineer for the reggae band Runkus and the Old School Band. But let me tell you something, I'm so proud of him, because for 2020, he was also the Prime Minister's Youth Awardee in the category of arts and culture. Well, go on, Saeed.
Well, go on.
All right. But I also have people on Zoom with me. I have Keith Kirk. He's a music and media professional with more than 20 years experience in the music business. He has a very keen understanding of the music industry in relations to very important things such as intellectual property rights, music publishing, licensing, copyright, and metadata. Now, Keith is currently involved in a project with the Copyright Music Organization of Trinidad and Tobago and Music TT to standardize and deploy TT ISRCs across the country. So welcome to Keith all the way in Trinidad. How are you? Keith, are you there?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Glad
nice.
To be here.
We're going to talk about Trinidad a little bit. I did live there for a whole year, you know. Yeah, so we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Fantastic.
We also have Martin Price. Martin, he is currently the director of A&R for North America and director of global expansion for OneRPM. Started out in booking and management, Martin has worked with nearly every single Caribbean artist at some point, and he's creating a lot of relationships because he loves the music and culture so much. He has also opened an office in Nigeria, and he has plans for 4 to 5 more offices in 2021. So big things are going for Martin and for OneRPM. Martin, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Appreciate
How is it in Miami?
Not as warm as usual, but it's good. Better than other places.
Okay, we're feeling a cool breeze here in Jamaica too, so it's not so warm right now. I also have Walshy Fire. His parents called him Leighton Paul Walsh, but we call him Walshy Fire. And we know him because he's a Grammy award-winning Jamaican American DJ, MC, and record producer. And we all know him from Major Lazer alongside with his fellow DJs Diplo and Abe drums. Now, Walshy's not yet on the Zoom, but we're definitely going to get to him as we go on into the program. So, gentlemen, how are you all?
We're good.
We're good.
Definitely blessed to be here.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been a long year since COVID.
Yes, it definitely has been a long year.
I'm happy that JaRIA and the Ministry of Culture has taken the opportunity to execute Reggae Month and has given the entertainment industry an opportunity to once again take the stage, even though we don't have a massive audience in terms of physically in front of us. We do know that we can connect with the people digitally.
Right across the globe.
Exactly.
No, I'm going to speak to you first, Saeed, and I will have Martin and Keith jump in. So we're in Jamaica, and as I said, when March 10 came, I mean, we started out the year, everybody had talked about Vision 2020. It's going to be the big year for us. We're all very excited, and we came off of the heels of a really excited Reggae Month. As a matter of fact, I must say that Reggae Month 2020 was one of my favorites because we saw so many new events come on stream, and so many people were really buying to the fact that our reggae put Jamaica on top. So it was really good, and then boom, March come, we have a first case, entertainment industry shut down in Jamaica and globally, and it's for a year it has been like that. So you're on the technical side of life. Tell me about how that was for you in the beginning and your company M1.
Yeah, definitely for M1 in the beginning it was rough because we were doing a lot of commercial type of work, and even for that type of work, everything just slowed down. But then I'd say, let's say what you said, it started March. Let's say by May, everything just kind of picked up because now artists, the musicians, the commercial companies, the corporate companies, everybody now wanted to find a way, how do we still get our message across? How do we still connect with the people? And the only way to do it was to do it digitally or to do it live.
Right.
I mean, traditionally, we do have television as a source for people to tune into. But then, of course, television comes with a lot more. The price maybe a little bit different. The quality, the standard of the production has to be a little bit different as well. So definitely streaming and doing broadcast over live stream has been an opportunity for everybody to just kind of tap back into their audience, essentially.
Right. Keith, we also came off the high of Trinidad Carnival in February last year, and then boom, COVID. How was it in Trinidad for you guys? What are some of the challenges that you faced, and where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm in Trinidad right now. Been here for the past 12 months, but the carnival is a physical thing. It's a party essentially. How do you do an online party, right? And they've been thinking about, how can we do this online? But there's really no way to have that same experience digitally. You'll have to come up with some other way to get that done. So it's not really worked out. I think that in Canada they tried to do it and it didn't really work. So I think Trinidad looked at that and said, you know what, we might just leave that alone and not even try to do that.
I'm sure people out in Trinidad right now having all type of tabanka, right?
I'm sure, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
No carnival buddies this year.
Okay, but Keith, how is it that Carnival is such a big experience, and I know you're not just into soca music, but I know, and Trinidad had a lockdown, a strict lockdown, longer than Jamaica did, because I had a couple of friends over there that just, even when we opened our borders, they were unable to travel. So you're really just in studio recording and doing all of that type of thing. How has it been for the 12 months you've been there?
Actually, my role as a metadata analyst, a metadata specialist, has exponentially blew up because of this pandemic, right? Because everyone's speaking about this, and I don't know, you probably heard about Clubhouse now. Everybody's on Clubhouse, and there's been lots of conversations, and so, you know, my role as a metadata analyst, which is really the most boring part of the industry, is very tedious. It's very, you know, there's lots of data. It's not fun, but it's now become this important factor with everything, because everything is going online, right? So I've been talking to people in Trinidad about this a lot more. They're more keen to listen now. The ISRC codes, ISWC codes, IPI codes, all these codes and all these things. People are tending to pay attention a lot more now, because everything's all digital, right? And if you're going digital, you got to make sure that you are digitally ready, for that space.
But before you tell us about being digitally ready, Keith, I want to know how it was with Martin in Miami. Because right now in Martin, almost every Jamaican DJ and party I got Miami, because Miami well open. How was it before you actually opened up, though?
I mean, that's quite a while back. You have to go for that. Miami's been kind of open for a minute. So, I mean, I guess back in like first quarter, second quarter, March, April, May, it was pretty quiet and not a whole lot going on. But yeah, I mean, they've been doing things and having places open for months now. So it's kind of the norm at this point. The only difference really is, you know, there's still social distancing and there's still masks, but yeah, beyond that, I mean, a lot has gotten back to regular life now.
Okay, so you have a completely different perspective to share with us tonight. I hear that Walshy's on. Walshy, how you do? Walshy, are you there?
Unmute. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you do?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where exactly are you?
I'm in Kingston.
You're in Kingston. Yes. So, and you've been here with us throughout the whole pandemic?
Yes.
Right. Which I know is very different for you, because you are known for your touring.
Much. Yeah, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing. Tell me why you said so.
Yeah, man, we'll give because we give thanks for the refresh. We give thanks for the chance to meditate on what matters. We give thanks for the clearer mind. We give thanks for the new opportunities that have been brought towards us. And we also have condolences for the people who have lost their life, and for the people who have lost their jobs, and for the people who have been affected by this. And that, if you're a human being, it's very difficult to not share that same emotional space with other humans. So we give thanks for that connection, that reconnection that we finally have begun to have as humans.
Nice. And I'm happy that you actually said that, Walshy, because a lot of persons have said that, you know, oh, this has been the worst time for them. And we understand, because as you said, a lot of people lost their lives, a lot of people lost their income. But we have a whole set of other opportunities. And we've been talking about pivoting a lot. We've been using that word a lot. We've also been talking about finding the opportunity in the crisis. And for you, Saeed, I know that I've been hearing M1 name enough now in Jamaica before me. Did I hear it before? So tell me about how you pivoted, because yes, you have a company that can do all these technical things and ensure that these persons within the entertainment industry, and even if you're in corporate, are able to reach their target audience. But just how did you actually get to the person to say, hey, this is what is happening, this is what is trending, you need to be doing this?
Funnily enough, we invested in equipment to stream prior to COVID. And this is just because we kind of realized where the industry was going, just in terms of more people are on their phones. That was a big aspect of it. the social media platforms were facilitating live a little bit more, and then we realized that some of the technical equipment providers, meaning the companies where you can buy the equipment from, they are now making consumer or they're now making equipment a little bit cheaper for consumers. So it is something that we kind of tapped into before in our business model to say, hey guys, this is the direction that we actually want to go. And then we were advertising it, I mean direct marketing mostly, reaching out to different companies and different agencies and different set of people to say, hey guys, we can do live stream, this is a possibility. But then nobody was really used or nobody was familiar with the concept. So now it kind of forced people's hands, and then is almost like just a blessing that we had the equipment and we were just ready to go as soon as it happened.
Okay, so it was all about being proactive for you even from the year before.
Exactly. So people knew of it before. They've mentioned live streaming before, and then we had prior knowledge based on our technical experiences before as well.
Right. Keith, you said that you are in one of the most boring parts of the industry, but now persons are really, really tapping into your type of data. Tell me what your day looks like generally, and how persons have increased their interest in what you do. And what do we do with all of this data?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Thanks to Clubhouse, and I don't want to really kind of keep talking about it, but it's a new platform that I've really been able to connect with people and to really help people understand the importance of metadata, right? If you want to talk about my day-to-day, how my day-to-day is, I'm really talking to independent artists, because the issue is that the music industry has two parts. You've got the major label and you've got the independent. And the major labels and major label artists enjoy having these teams and departments behind them to make sure that all this data is working and is sitting right and is correct and all that kind of stuff. But that independent artist does not have that machine behind them. So I saw a gap in the market. I worked at all the major labels, Universal, Sony, BMG, Cobalt, all of them. And, when I counted it, it takes about 300 to 500 people to get one artist to the market.
What?
Right? About 500 people are working on one artist's project to get it to the market. The independent.
Sorry to cut you, Keith, but I don't think that the regular person who consumes the music actually realizes that it's a whole industry that's behind one song or one artist.
Absolutely.
So it's very good that you point that out for us.
You said it. It's a whole team. It's departments that's behind these artists pushing this music out. So I was like, well, what happens to the independent artists then? How do they compete with this? Right. So this is why I started talking about, hey, the best place to start is that metadata, because the industry is now a digital, data-driven, algorithmic industry. You're talking about Siri. Hey, Siri, can you play, Rihanna? Hey, Siri, can you play Beanie Man? Hey, Siri, can you play, I Shot the Sheriff? And she plays it. That's because of metadata. Right? And every time it plays, every time your song plays or streams somewhere or is performed somewhere, there's money that's generating from that stream. But again, how we track that revenue, how we track the streams, how you get paid is through that metadata. So I've been really kind of talking with independent artists, helping them to understand the importance of it, getting the ISRCs, the ISWCs, all those codes in place and everything like that. And that's what's been happening for the past few weeks for me.
And I want to bring in Martin in this part of the discussion, because Keith spoke about, streamlining data and all of that. For these independent artists, and even for the ones who are not independent, how do they get knowledge or access information about better streamlining of digital releases and best practices for this type of digital distribution?
I mean, at the end of the day, the information is quite readily available, whether it's talking to somebody like myself or the others on this call, or whether it's as simple as just Googling things online. But, I think it comes down to two things. One is the knowing what to look for, knowing what to ask, and wanting to know the answer, and then also once you have the answer, actually putting it into practice. Because especially, I mean, and it's not this way everywhere, but certainly in the Caribbean, we come across a lot of impatience, and somebody mixes and masters their song, and once it's ready, they want it out, like drop next day, and nothing else matters other than that song getting out. And some know what they're missing out on when they do that, and they still prefer to do it because it's, if it's Carnival and that song needs to be out, it needs to be out.
Right.
Others don't know, and they don't know what they're missing out on by dropping it like that and not giving it proper lead time and ample time to to put things in place.
What about, sometimes I feel like maybe we're going to get virtualed out. Walshy, I want to bring you in on this because I know that previously you were touring a lot, you were all over the world, and whereas you did say that you give thanks for the blessing to be home and to be grounded and to make more music, tours is a big part of the entertainment industry. And I feel like, do you think that, I mean, inevitably I know that we're going to be opened at some point, but in between that time, Walshy, you feel like we're going virtual out? Like, we're just going tired of look on the screen?
Yeah, virtual fatigue is a real thing. It would be just like if you went out 5 nights a week. At some point, you'd fatigue. But yeah, virtual fatigue is a real thing. And so we'd have to keep coming up with ideas to be creative, to captivate people, to continue to watch what most people would say is the same thing over and over and over again, which is person with microphone performing music. The thing about virtual is it is limitless as far as where you can go with ideas. And so when we do begin to see people suffer from virtual fatigue, there will be a new creative bump and another creative bump and another creative bump. And I'm not going to lie. I think within the next 5 years, we'll be seeing virtual shows and set design that will be nothing that we can even fathom currently, just out of things like virtual fatigue and competition, and people's creative flow is going to be so laser focused on entertaining right now and giving people such a great experience. Yeah, major laser focus on giving a good experience that will outdo their peers. One artist will say, "Yo, so we need to make sure we do something bigger than what the artist they do," and you'll just see this. It's going to blow out of it's going to go crazy, and so don't count virtual things down or out anytime soon.
Okay.
We definitely do want to see tours come back to some level of normalcy, but if it does not, be prepared. Don't not be prepared. I think everybody here would agree with that. Be prepared. Be absolutely prepared to never, ever, ever do another live show again. And if we do, great. But at least you were prepared just in case.
And as we talk about preparation, that's something that you spoke to Saeed. And even as we talked about the virtual fatigue, how are you planning? So, okay, M1 is doing its thing right now. And I was very much there when you guys did Uppsala Reggae Jam this year at JaRIA Recording Studio. And the set was nice, 2 sets and all of these types of things. But how do you get into, as Walshy said, that creative mode in order to give every client or every festival the very best for the next event with regards to creativity? You don't feel like you're going to run out of idea?
No, I think that's the beauty about humans and the beauty about us as creatives is that between our own creative inspirations and collaborating and and exploring the vision of the artist or the musician or the promoter, I think there will never be an end to creativity like that. Every artist has a different vision. I mean, sometimes something might repeat, or sometimes you might take a reference and spin it in your own twist. But there are so many examples to draw from now. There are so many things that inspire your own creativity. I don't think it will ever end. I'm going to give you an example. We did the Appleton Estate, Tammy and Tessan and Wayne Marshall. And that idea started off as one thing. The night before it changed And then even the night before it changed, we spoke to our creative director. He gave a couple more ideas. Then we spoke to Tammy, and then we spoke to Wayne, and they said, "No man, the idea then I feel like we are meet the Mitchells at this go on." And then between that collaboration, it came out beautiful.
Right.
So I mean, I think it's just collaboration, drawing inspiration from your own creativity and what else you can see around you.
Yeah. Martin, so as you said, you're in Miami and things kind of look normal in Miami because a lot of our promoters have migrated to Miami and they're keeping all of the events that they usually keep here in Jamaica. So Miami well live. How do you balance the digital that's happening with the actual live physical events that's happening? Do you think that digital will surpass the events because some people may not want to go out?
I mean, when you say digital, you mean like the live streams and things
right,
of that
the live
nature?
Streams.
Yeah, no, I don't ever foresee that passing real life. As long as live in person is available and is an option, then I think, human nature is to be outside and have fun and interact with people. And, we've made do. A lot of people have made do and brought some amazing things to the surface and done some amazing things creatively with the situation that has been handed to us. But I definitely think at the end of the day, there's no substitute for live and in person, and the vibe and the feeling and the blaring music in your ears. Like most people, if you're watching something live, you're watching on your phone, your computer. You don't, everyday people don't have giant surround sound systems in their apartments or their homes to really take it in.
I've invested.
Hear it from all directions.
I want to feel it stomping out my heart like when we did the sound system.
Yeah.
Walshy, we know Major Lazer for creativity, right? What would you be saying to some of the producers and musicians right now in this time where, for Jamaica for sure, we're not even sure when the reopening is going to begin, and when it does begin, we know it's going to be on a phased basis. What are you saying to these producers right now who may feel like, Jano, I don't know what happened, I don't know what to do?
Yeah, I don't say anything to them. They'll some of them will win, some of them will lose. Yeah, I'm not the counselor for this, thing called music. People rise and people fall, and if they have the creative skill and the wherewithal to figure it out, yeah, man, they're gonna win. And if they don't,
tough
then,
love.
you know what it is? It's just real, right? Like,
it is real.
Think about it. Think about it, right? Like, I don't give advice to people. People ask me all the time, Walshy, what would you tell the young people out there? I don't have nothing to tell you. You're going to do it or you're not. You're going to make it or you're not. And that's it. And if you decide, I'm going to make it, then you're going to make it. Mm-hmm. And that's the advice, be one of those people that say, anything can happen. God wipe out everything, in one fell swoop. And I'm still going to be okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
So, it's up to each individual to decide whether they want to do this for real. This has been an amazing weeding out process for the people that really, really, really want to be a part of the music industry, mm-hmm. versus the people that were in it for the likes and for the clout and for the money. I remember I said, we don't do this for money,
Yeah, it's almost like a clearinghouse. So it's who was in there like for real.
Yeah, it was one of them big cobweb cleaning where you're just... and you're just like, okay, well, the ones who have the actual talent and the passion and have no problem going through a pandemic, mm-hmm. and still passionately and happily work on their craft, they're the ones that's going to be fine.
No, I'm not done with you, Walshy, because when I have big concerts at Jamaica, now walking a bubble pan audience and all type of things, I want to know if when Walshy and the rest of Major Lazer do things now got hologram in my yard, what's happening? What am I about to see?
Yeah, I hope so. I do believe that we're going to get there very soon. I believe that the cost of virtual headsets is going to drop. Right now, they're about 300 to 500 US, and I believe that when they get to about 100 US, you're going to see virtual headsets everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we've already done some Oculus concerts, of which you can walk up on stage and walk around us as we perform. I believe that will become very normal in the very, very, very near future. And so, just like you said that now, you're going to say, yo, there me yard, I want to see what Stone Love I go on with.
Hey, I wonder we can get some copyright on that. Hey, Keith, run in, Walshy ready to protect my idea. Run in, want some copyright advice.
I'm so glad that you guys are talking about it, and Walshy has been hitting that nail on the head. I did a paper on that for my master's degree about holograms, and there are already hologram concerts happening with Tupac. There's one on YouTube, I think you can find it, with Tupac and Snoop Dogg, but Tupac is the hologram.
That was Coachella.
Right. So that's a big thing, and as Walshy said, that's the future. Like we can go to a concert in a big field somewhere, have a massive stage, have that live experience, but it's all hologram. So it could be Michael Jackson, it could be Elvis, it could be Frank Sinatra, all these people that are dead, but it's a hologram. They're live on stage, you're seeing them, but it's a hologram, right?
Correct.
That's what's going to happen.
So the estates of these people will definitely link with a company that can create a hologram and a 360 universe for these artists. And I'm not lying to you. Like I said before, I never really want to say so deeply what Emma said, but we're here. We're going to talk about it.
Yes, we're here. Guys, and I want everybody who is online right now on YouTube, JaRIA Entertainment. No, somebody did say it. Watch me did say it. The people here, somebody did say it. I'm gonna earn from you.
Extra. Yeah, man, I got you.
Thank you.
Yeah, like he said, yo, guys, we're not talking about 20 years from now.
No, we're not.
And I wanna remind everybody, put it in your mind frame. It's happened already. I have done it. If I were to, God bless me, not, that it doesn't happen, but to pass tomorrow, somebody could my family could make money off of me performing forever.
Nice.
And so something like a Michael Jackson or something like that, we're only a few months away from a Michael Jackson concert. We're only a few months away from a Bob Marley concert where Bob Marley looks, sounds, the experience is almost like you were really watching.
That's what I want
only
to
a
see.
few months away from that.
I mean, even just think about that Queen documentary and what they remade with that giant benefit concert where they I mean, it wasn't Freddie Mercury, but it may as well have been.
Yes, I've heard about that one.
Saeed, I want you to jump in here. Are you ready for this type of thing here in Jamaica?
Yeah, definitely. I hope the consumers are ready.
We're ready. Trust me, we are ready.
Yes, we're ready.
Yes, we're completely ready. Now, so after we have all of this digital thing happening, Keith, Martin, Saeed, and Walshy, what about on the back end of it in terms of documentation and in terms of maintaining great databases? Like, how do we actually get into the culture of doing that? Because I know for Jamaica, for sure, having dealt with a number of artists and producers and event coordinators, that they love doing the things that they do. But the actual business of it and maintaining it and ensuring that they earn from it in the future is not there. How do we prepare for something like this? I mean, no Walshy have him tough love, and I say, well, if them no want, them no want. But for like copyrights for Keith and for Martin too, how do they go about doing this?
Well, can I just jump in before these guys give actual information and say, tough love is the only way to really answer this, in my opinion. All of this information is accessible.
It is.
If you do not have a few hours of your day to go learn how to do this, you don't really want to do this. So I'll let the guys answer after that.
Thanks, Walshy.
Well, just to follow that up, a good way to put it is, like, you go and buy a house or you go and buy a car. Are you buying any of those things without paperwork? Are you buying any of those things without, doing your due diligence and putting aside your title and keeping it in a safe place? I mean, those are assets. And at the end of the day, music is an asset, and it needs to be treated as such because it holds value. So if you have a car with no title, that doesn't have any more value to you, which is why everyone keeps their title. So if you have a song with no ISRC code, song with no copyright, song with no paperwork, then what are you supposed to do with that?
Right. Martin?
You mean Keith?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like Martin just gave a perfect example, and what I would say to attach onto that is, yeah, people don't have the titles, but a lot of people don't even know what's going on with their music. They don't know how many shares I don't know how many shares I own. I don't know the splits. I don't know this. I don't know what PRO I'm with. Like, there's no information. It's just like you not knowing your social security number. I guess people don't know it by heart, but don't know that you're supposed to have one, right? That's the importance of understanding each song. So each song is like a separate business. Each song is like a house, like Martin just said. So think of each song like a new house you built. And you have to have the deed and the title and the information, the paperwork for every single song. And that so that you know if this song is generating revenue, you know the information behind that, you know what information should be there so that revenue comes back to you.
Right. On the technical side of life, Saeed, what do you think?
On the technical side, the information is there, the analytics is there. Like if you're going to, it's there, why ignore the analytics? It should now be the basis on how you plan and how you execute moving forward, you know?
For you, Martin, you've opened up an office in Nigeria, and I'm not very au fait with the music and entertainment industry there. What's happening in Nigeria right now? And you said that you want to open 4 to 5 more in 2021. How are you embarking on doing this?
Yeah, I mean, the company itself has 22 offices as it stands all around the world, you know, including a presence in Jamaica. And I actually moved to Miami from Jamaica. I was in Kingston for 3 years. So, but you know, the Nigeria office was just the next step, the Afro beat, the Afro influence. Obviously that genre of music is extremely popular right now. Some of it even crossing over, you know, into pop lanes with some of the bigger artists. But it's growing significantly. They have, it's a huge market. So the numbers that they do, you know, are extremely high as far as streaming, and they use, you know, the main platforms. They have some of their own platforms over there. But I think it's always just something that's ever changing, and you have to stay up with it, which is why I'm looking at Ghana, Rwanda, South Africa, Turkey, India. You know, those are the kind of the next targets. And it's just really staying ahead of the curve. And also it's having presences in different places so that you can more readily bring other types of music and other genres from other territories to those territories. Because if I'm somebody in Jamaica and I want to release reggae music, dancehall music, soca music, whatever the case may be, and you know, I'm doing the same thing that every other company there is doing, then what's the point? What's the difference? Where's the change?
Right.
But if I'm doing what I can, and it's not an easy task, but if I'm doing what I can to use all my other offices and my presence in these other territories to try and get this music into new markets and new regions and to ears that haven't heard it before, now I'm doing something different. And hopefully in the long run, that ends up paying off.
Okay. I have a little bit of time before I get to our first break, and I want to actually bring Saeed in to say, so you're doing this in Jamaica, and we know that we're living in our global world. And as I was just saying with Martin being in Nigeria, are you also planning to expand? Or are you going to stay with us a little bit before you check out the expansion?
I think there is much more work to be done locally. In terms of just even educating the masses about what can be done digitally. So we're going to stay locally a little bit longer, but I mean the opportunities are there internationally, and as the technology improves, you can do things remotely even easier now. Just the other day, Indian Premier League did their entire league remotely.
Right.
Whereas before,
and we know you've been into sports too because you've worked with the IAAF.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely it's an opportunity that we will look into, but for now we'll try and work locally.
Also, do you find that during this pandemic that you've had more clients in the music and entertainment industry or on the corporate side?
I think there's a good balance. Before we were primarily corporate. Since the pandemic, we've partnered a lot with various entertainment acts such as Chronix and Stark Ashley, and now we've done the Appleton Estate Stream, where the corporate companies are now trying to find a way to partner with entertainment acts as well.
Right.
So I mean, I think there has been a good balance.
Okay. And as we're up on the break, when we come back, we're going to actually talk about some of those collaborations. And I want to bring Walshy into that conversation when we get in, and some more about the metadata where that is concerned. Because here in Jamaica, I used to get really upset when we're at any corporate event. I look on the agenda, I see cultural item, and it looked like it just drop in there because, me could just put some part of entertainment in there. But now I'm seeing more meaningful collaborations because of this whole virtual thing. So we're going to go to a break. It's just a 30-second break, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be right here on YouTube, on Facebook, at JaRIA Entertainment. We'll be right back. This is our first Reggae Open University for Reggae Month 2021.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
Everybody wanna feel. Walshy quickly about collaboration, and then he can go and. Walshy hearing me?
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
Everybody wanna feel about music when it hits you.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
Everybody wanna feel.
And we are back at the first staging of the Reggae Open University. It's coordinated by JaRIA. And you know that the entire Reggae Month activities for 2021 is coordinated with JaRIA, as well as the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We'll have to big up with sponsors, because without them we wouldn't be able to do this entire live virtual streaming of everything that we're doing for Reggae Month. And so we have to big up the Ministry of Tourism, the Chase Fund, Starlight, JTB, TEF, CPTC, Java, JCDC, Reggaeville, Rhythm Agency, Surfer Reggae and Reggae Festival Guide, Rhythm Magazine, M1 Production, Saeed in the house, Creation Foods, and Ashanti Oasis. Now, before we went to the break, we were talking about doing seeing more collaboration between corporate and the entertainment and music industry. And I want to bring Walshy in, because we all know saying it's about the music, it's about the touring, it's about the performance. And oftentimes with corporate, it always looks like entertainment jokes on. And sometimes the corporate world would want to sponsor more corporate things. And when it comes to entertainment, it's a little like, we're not too sure. What do you think about what digital has done for that whole scene, Walshy?
I mean, it really hasn't done much. Corporate people usually sponsor things that they think will help their bottom line. And if they don't think that the revenue spend is worth it, they just, that hasn't changed. Nothing's really changed, to be honest with you. Yes, there are some companies that support virtual things, but again, that's the things that they believe support their brand. So I haven't really seen any movement in that. You know, you still have a lot of corporate companies that have people who are clueless at the job, and then you have some corporate companies where the people are just vibes and they get it and they understand and they know the importance of entertainment and attaching themselves to entertainment. So I personally haven't seen any change in that paradigm. It's still the same way.
Keith, how do you think that the use of metadata could actually help some of these corporate companies? Because I've had tons of examples, and I don't want to call corporate names or artist names right now, where the artist or the event promoter or coordinator would have gone to the corporate company for sponsorship or partnership collaboration on a certain project. And the corporate company will be like, not really, we're not too sure. And then the thing blow up. And then after that, the corporate company is like, oh, can we have a part? And by that, the promoter bitter, the artist bitter, the relationship the relationship came in. How is it that corporate companies could actually use metadata to help them with this type of thing?
Well, Saeed just said it, right? He said analytics. It's all about that. Analytics helps you make informed decisions. So the more data you can extrapolate, the more analytics you can use, you can see beforehand what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should do it, where you should do it, where you should promote, how you should promote, who to promote to. All these kind of things, metadata and analytics will help an organization, a corporate organization, understand if this is something that they should put their money behind.
Right. Saeed, did you see that happening here with us? Was that how you saw it evolve for us in the digital space?
Yeah, definitely. And I have to give kudos to the corporate companies that we have worked with and the agencies that they hire. They are very big on analytics, and as soon as that stream is finished, that's the first thing they ask for. What were the numbers? And right after that, now they do their planning and they do their discussion as to okay, who exactly did this target? How successful was this? Because something can seem successful, but then when you look at the actual numbers, it might not have been. So definitely, I think there has been an improvement in terms of the record keeping and the analytics.
Okay.
Since the digital or since COVID.
Yeah, the digital shift. Yeah. Martin, do you think that right now the artist may not need an entire booking and management happening for them now because of the digital space? Everybody can jump on a social media, go up on a live, everybody feel like them can produce themselves. Do you think that the shift to doing more digitally enhanced productions is actually having full companies that do booking and marketing for an artist obsolete?
I mean, it depends on which area you're looking at, but I don't think so. I mean, obviously it depends on the artist and their background and what they're capable of managing themselves. But certainly, you know, if booking comes back and you got rid of your booking agent, then, you know, you're going to have a lot harder time catching up to everybody else who never stopped grinding and pushing and looking for those first shows in the first places to open. You know, like I've noted there's been some shows over the past couple months in Tampa, and, you know, you can bet that those artists and their managers or their agents probably had something to do with them being the first ones booked for these shows that are happening. And then from a management perspective, you know, definitely not, unless you're, you know, very well experienced and know what you're doing and have been handling your business for a long time, then, you know, now would definitely not be the time to get rid of a manager if you have one, because a manager is going to be the one that finds you these other streams. You know, just as an example, an artist that has been relying on, you know, income from bookings for years and years and years, and now doesn't have that, you know, a manager maybe is the one that's gonna think about it and take their catalog, their music, those assets that we spoke of before, and they're gonna roll them into a deal. And in that deal, maybe they get a cash advance, or maybe they get something on the front end of signing a deal with a record company like my own that gets them those funds to get through this tough time until shows come back. So, you know, once again, it does depend on the artist and the producer and who you're talking to. But if you're an artist that already has a team and that's what you've relied on in the past, then I don't see it being a good idea to change that, because those are still the people that are going to find those solutions and opportunities for you.
Right. Walshy, how do you think that marketing of artists is different now with the digital shift? Because, okay, so for Major Lazer, when I think of Major Lazer, I always think of creativity. I'm like, what the hell next they're going to do? That's what I go to a Major Lazer show for, because I feel like I'm going to see something that's very different. How do you think that in this digital age, you're able to market yourself creatively because of the whole digital shift?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what everyone else is going to do, but I do believe that everyone needs to look at what they were doing and see if it's working. Keith and Saeed are all saying exactly what everybody should walk away with, which is know your business so that you're able to look at your own analytics and your own numbers and pivot if necessary. So if somebody is seeing success, just double down on it. If you're not seeing success, pivot. But if you don't have a creative person around you to help you pivot, find a creative person. This is the era of communication and collaboration. Everybody should be trying to figure out how they can work with somebody, because working with somebody is the only way they're going to be able to see 2021, 2022, 2023 with some level of success. If you're not collaborating, what are you even doing? So this is all about, doing what you feel is best for your brand, but also doing what the numbers say is best for you. And I believe that we can actually collaborate both and get it together and get some successful artists on it.
But one can also, and this question is for everybody, one can also say that, okay, everybody is trying to do this collaboration thing, we're reaching out to people. Again, that can be tiresome. If I don't know how to do it,
go home, then go get another job, go work for somebody.
Hi, Walshy.
Yeah, for real. What are we talking about?
It's true though.
If you don't have the ability to get yourself where you want to get yourself, what are you doing it for? What I can't get you there. Martin can't get you there.
Music is a grind. I mean, that's what it is.
You got to grind.
Yeah,
it's a grind. So if you are tired or lazy and you don't know what to do, there's a whole list of jobs online that you can go do. You can go work at a call center. You know what I'm saying?
I like this panel. I really like this panel. This panel is saying what people need to hear.
Man, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. These are adults. These are not kids we're talking to. These are adults. Every single person that you have seen reach a level of success, you did not see the 10 years, 15 years of grinding that they put into getting to that place that they're at. And if you're gonna ask a question that says, how can you help me? I automatically say, get away from me. Get away.
What do you say, Martin?
Yeah,
we know what Walshy's saying. What are you saying?
I mean, this is everywhere, because I did a couple of panels recently in Nigeria when I was over there, and it was the same thing. Like, you have a panel, you have a bunch of people out here in the audience that are aspiring to be artist, producer, manager, agent, whatever the case may be, and the questions are always the same. It's like, oh, what can I do to get in a room with this person? Or what can I do to get my song heard? It's always the same questions. And if there was an answer to that question, everybody would be doing it. Everyone would be an artist or a manager. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's the whole thing. Like, even as somebody, I'm not a creative at all, but my creativity comes from how to position myself and how to do business in a creative way and work with the creatives. Right. So if you want to get in the room with somebody and you think that's the key to making it happen, then figure out a creative way to make that happen. I mean, you may have to figure out where she gets her coffee or he gets her coffee and wait on the corner of that store to get some FaceTime, if that's what it takes.
Martin and Walshy, you're right on the money. I'm about to bring Saeed in, but there was a room I wanted to get into one time with one of my favorite persons in the world. The person was in Jamaica.
It wasn't Igbo.
No, it wasn't Igbo. Me get beaten for Igbo. And the person was at the Pegasus, and I said to my senior director at the time at the ministry, I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the Pegasus, and if the police come for me, can you just bail me? Because I'm going into that room that particular person was in. Reach a Pegasus, I'm just start going like me belong in the room, like me to go to the bathroom, and if I go back into the security was like, ma'am, were you in here? And I'm like, of course. He's like, where your ticket? I'm like, oh my God, me have to go back to the bathroom for the ticket. I think I dropped it. And the secretary was like, no man, them start already going in. Let me tell you something. My all the on FB Live, I show everybody else the room. So you're right. If you want to get into the room, you will find a way to get into the room.
And
that
now you're
room,
hosting Reggae Month.
Yep.
Yeah.
You will definitely
it
find
makes
a way.
sense.
Saeed, I want to actually bring you in because when you were starting to prepare to start your company, M1, were there naysayers to say that, oh, this whole digital technical thing where you want to do and really that's go on right now, Jamaican people will still love being there physically. Did you get any type of pushback like that?
Well, look, I had a company before called Cinecore, and Cinecore did a partnership with Mystique to become M1.
Right.
So there are always naysayers every step of the way. When I started Cinecore, I was fresh off tour with Runkus. I came out of a similar technical job before, and him young, him don't know nothing about business. Why him know how will it grow, blah 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 blah. And then when we did the partnership, it's something very similar. I mean there are always naysayers. I don't focus on it.
So it actually filters into what Walshy was saying about collaboration.
Yeah.
So you actually collaborated with Mystique and something great came out of that. Okay, I like that. For Reggae Month 2021, Walshy, completely virtual. Do you feel that, because we have all the events virtually this year, some rewind looking back at things that we did in past years. The team is working very hard with M1 in post-production to ensure that everybody enjoys it. But do you think that in looking at 2021, what is some of the things that you would actually tap into for us to make it even better? Walshy.
Yeah, I'm not following that. What do you mean by tap into?
I'm saying that you're always thinking ahead of the game, especially with how Major Lazer works. So as part of the industry, as a player within the industry, seeing how last year, Reggae Month, we all thought that, oh my God, it's going to be on the cusp of greatness. It was so good. And then this year we're digital. With some of the things that you were talking about being in homes, hologram and all of that, what are some of the things that you'd expect to see in 2021 and beyond?
You know, so I'm not expect to see nothing like, you know, this is still talent on a screen, and the talent is unbelievable. This is really, in my opinion, this might be a better question for Saeed. But at the end of the day, I know that they're going to be working year round to continuously grow the possibilities of something like a Reggae Month concert virtually. Right. And so what we will see is Saeed or you know, whoever is hired to do Reggae Month doing their absolute best at the highest level that they are able to do it under the circumstances. And so I can't wait to see that. That's good enough for me. I know exactly what the intention is.
Right.
You can spin it back too and say, I mean, what is Reggae Month going to do that we're not expecting, right? Because what we're expecting, I mean, that's not what we don't want to see. What we're expecting, we want to see what we're not expecting.
Right, I like it. Saeed, that just put a lot of pressure on you. I'm just letting you know. Yeah, I'm throwing the pressure over there on you because I know that we have some good things in the bag, but they want to see something that they're not expecting. Yeah, but for the metadata part, though, Keith. This is a very great time in life for Jamaica, I believe, because we know, because I'm going to just say it, because Walshy, Yago embrace me when we say it. I feel like Jamaica did back a time with regards to how we view the digital. So even though we knew, a lot of us knew that it was where the world was going, and this is pre-COVID, we knew that this was where the world was going. We saw other people stepping into all types of virtuals, and I just don't mean streaming and all of that. They were just using technology a lot more than we were. We were still relying on what we know. So I feel like it is a great time for us to use information to actually make our industry so much better. Keith, what do you think?
Absolutely.
And even for Trinidad in the Caribbean.
Well, you just answered your question, really. And this is not a Jamaican thing. This is a Caribbean-wide issue, right? And as a person who works in metadata, I'm all about, okay, where's the information about this song? Where are the songs stored? Where can I find the songs? Where can I get information about the songs? So we got to start thinking about databases. Everything is about databases. How do we curate, collect, catalog, categorize our songs, and where are they sitting? Because when I spoke to some music supervisors from Netflix and some in Hollywood and stuff like that, and they were asking me, they're like, some of them were saying, well, a lot of times we just can't find music. We just can't find Caribbean music. So it needs to sit somewhere and be able to be accessible with all this, the surrounding metadata around it, so that everybody knows, okay, well, this is what this song has, these are the shares, this is the percentages, this is the label, this is everything, It's very, very, especially as we're going into this digital sphere, that becomes even more critical to have that information about all these songs.
So do you think that the onus, still with you, Keith, do you think that the onus is going to be on governments and policies, or do you think it is on actual members and stakeholders within the industry to move away from the oral culture? Because I believe that's one of the reasons why we haven't had the type of documentation that you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a collaborative effort, and I'm from the UK, and the UK is they are the best at collecting information and data. They collect information and data on everything, but not so much in the Caribbean. So we need to start collecting information and data and analytics on everything when it comes to the music, because that's how Shazam works. Apple bought Shazam for $400 million because of the data that they had, right? So if I'm sitting out somewhere in Kingston and I'm in a restaurant somewhere and I hear a song, I don't know that song, I Shazam it, and then I get no results. It means that song, the metadata for that song is not there, right? So that's what we need to do. We need to make sure that the Caribbean music is accessible, and we can find it, we can discover it, we can interact with it, we can read about it, we can research it. It needs to sit somewhere.
Walshy, was this something that Major Lazer or you just as an individual was already investing in? Did I lose Walshy? Unmute for me, Walshy.
No, sorry, Medea is just a movement, me I make.
I know you have to go. This is my last question for you.
I have to go. What's the question?
My last question for you is that Keith just spoke about ensuring that we digitize and have databases of information of our songs and all the work that we're doing here, especially as a Caribbean people, because we're a lot into oral culture, and so we don't document a lot. Is this something that Major Lazer or you as an individual, a businessman, have been investing in?
Yeah, so data is probably the new gold, the new silver, the new dollar. A person that has the most data will probably be the wealthiest people in the very near future. Content and data are your new currency very soon. So, and I'm sure Keith can elaborate in much greater detail than that. But to anyone out there who isn't collecting data, you've missed out on a major part of possible revenue, as well as anyone who is not what's the other thing I just said? Data. What did I say again?
Content. Data.
Content. Yeah. Anybody who's not putting out a lot of content is also missing out. So content is king. Content is queen. Content is the empress, Jarastafari. And so I want everyone to understand that if you have content and it's on your laptop, it's not doing you any good. If you have content and it's in a folder somewhere, it's not doing you any good. Collect data, and then put out content. That is the way the algorithm is going to like you more. You're going to be favored, and you're going to be able to see some revenue for the work that you're doing. Collecting data is the probably single most important thing in the near future.
Thank you so much.
So yes, we are.
So thank you so much, Walshy, for being with us. I know you have a really, really busy schedule, but you still decided to stay with us. And I hope that we'll see you popping in virtually at some more of our Reggae Month events, and be safe, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right. So
everybody.
Thanks, Walshy.
Take care, bro.
So I'm still here with Syed Thomas with Keith Kirk and with Martin Price. And Martin, I actually want to bring you in here now because while she was talking about if you're not putting out enough content that you're gonna be behind. Usually when you have an artist signed, booking and management, you say, okay, we're gonna do 10 songs this year, we're gonna promote them, see how it goes. Are we doubling that because of all of this virtual shift?
Well, I mean, first of all, which artists are you talking to that only put out 10 songs in a year? Because I have yet to meet that one. I mean, that's actually, I mean, part of one of the issues. I mean, it's not an issue in the Caribbean itself, but part of the kind of the issue in the global landscape is artists put out too much music at a too fast pace, and they don't take any time to promote one song and see what it can do, and then you start cannibalizing your other music with the new music. So you know, but beside that part of it, there are so many tools in music that allow you to collect this data, and you know, things as simple as smart links, you know, that everybody uses. A purpose of the smart link is to direct people to listen to your music or to pre-order it or to do these things and direct to their platform of choice. Right. But the other thing smart links do is collect data. But very few use them. Right. You know, like we'll run smart links for some Caribbean artists, and we'll have, you know, a couple hundred pre-saves or pre-orders or you know, directed, you know, click throughs to Spotify or whatever the case may be. And you go to the US or the UK or Africa even, and one pre-save from an artist of the same size as the Caribbean artist, but they have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 click-throughs. And all of those click-throughs are also collecting data.
Right. Well, you know, if you're just joining us on JaRIA Entertainment on YouTube or on Facebook, we have been having a really lively discussion about opportunities in the music and entertainment industry in this new normal. And we have all agreed that there has been a digital shift. We all agree that there has been an evolution. But is it fair for us to continue to call it a new normal in terms of entertainment and music where digital is concerned? Because we were already going there. So are we wrong for calling it a new normal? Anybody can take it. Saeed?
I think it's still fair to call it a new normal.
Why you say so?
Because it's...
Is it the way in which we're doing it?
I think not everyone has tapped into it fully yet, and it still needs a little bit of time for everybody to understand and accept that it may be the normal way going forward. I hope that didn't sound pessimistic.
No.
Yeah, but
remember that we're having real conversations here.
Yeah.
So I want to hear it real from you.
Yeah, so I think because of that, it still can be called the new normal until there's another shift and then another norm comes into play. Okay. Yeah.
What about for you, Martin, in Miami? Because I know that things were moving a bit faster than we were here in Jamaica, for sure, and the Caribbean where digital is concerned. Does it feel like a new normal?
Yeah, I mean, I think new normal, that term, I mean, I think we live in a society that's changing and adapting every day anyway. So, you know, almost every day you wake up is a new normal. Because there's going to be something new that we come across on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, I think the adaptation is going to continue for the foreseeable future and forever, because that's just, you know, part of life. But certainly I do think that there's going to be, I'm very confident at least, that there's going to be a kind of a reversion back to, you know, more so the way things used to be. And streaming and live music don't compete either. One benefits the other. The original purpose of live music and concerts and touring was to promote new music. So it became something different. It became a revenue stream and just something that you do because, you know, it makes money and people want to see you perform and whatever. So people will tour and do shows even when they're not promoting new music. But, you know, I think the two have always coexisted and will continue to coexist. But I think we will revert back to kind of a more typical scene in the music industry eventually.
Okay. For you, Keith, Do you think that in this time of using all of this data that we're getting, do you think that we will go back as Caribbean people? Because you know us, when we get back what we want, when we get back comfortable, you think that you're going to be bored again, thinking that, okay, they don't want to use my data, what's happening? Do you think that that's something that could possibly happen?
No. As Walshy said, data is the new currency. They say data is more valuable than oil, right? It's the new. Why do you think all of these companies are buying up catalog? There's so many catalogs that's been bought up recently for hundreds of millions of dollars because they are seeing and they have the analytics and the data to see that streaming and digital and everything digital is going to double and triple and quadruple, which means those catalogs are going to become extremely valuable.
Right.
So this is not going anywhere. It's not going back to anything. This is where it's going. This is where it's heading.
Do you feel that that whole scenario you just mentioned, though, will benefit persons who have been in the industry for a longer time than for persons who are upcoming artists?
Yes, in some ways, because the ones who've been out longer have a larger back catalog, right? So they got more songs to stream, more opportunities to make more money. But, we're in that one song era too, where one song is just blowing up like billions and billions of streams. So
right.
I can't tell what may happen. It's hard to say if somebody that has more songs will make money than someone that just has one song. It's really hard to say.
Based on the data, how does an upcoming artist prepare for all of that, though? Because if I'm competing against a Bob Marley with a catalog like that, I'm an upcoming artist, and I'm young, so I'm a digital native. I have all of this information at my fingertips, and I'm using it. How do I compete, though, with somebody who has such a great catalog?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, a great song is a great song. So you write great songs and you use your platforms, the TikToks, the Instagrams, all that kind of stuff. As Martin and everybody is saying, the information is out there. There's so many platforms that are coming out every day and so many different ways to promote your music and all that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure that you're using that to your advantage, studying it, understanding how it works, getting the data analytics and all that to see who your market is. And here's the other thing, guys. Everybody talks about Apple Music and Spotify, but there are 700 plus DSPs out there. You don't have to just use Apple Music and Spotify. There are others that you can use. And there are audiences who don't use Apple Music and Spotify because they want a specific type of music.
True.
As well as, you don't have to just promote just because you're in Jamaica, you promote in Jamaica. You can promote around the globe.
Yeah, I think
connect with audiences around the globe.
I think that's one of the benefits of actually this digital age where you don't have to promote where you're geographically at. You have the opportunity to be global.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you put your music on platform on a DSP or Spotify, Apple Music, you're automatically global.
Right.
So you want to reach, and then remember these apps, these platforms have data analytics on the background that you can see and look into to see where your audience is, who is streaming your music, who's looking at your music, and then promote there.
Right. Would you say, this one is going to be from Martin. Martin, would you say that the audiences are they becoming more dynamic? So I'm just gonna pick Rihanna right now. So 10 years ago, the type of people that will listen to Rihanna, and I know she's making all her money from Fenty right now, she's just sleeping and making money. But do you think that if she should re-emerge as an artist, as in doing a lot of songs and in this virtual space, do you think that the audiences have changed so much that the people who are working behind the artist would have to have so much more to do? Do you see that as a thing happening because of the digital shift?
Not really. And I want to touch on one thing just from the past conversation as well. I think Keith covered a lot of really great points. But one thing I want to talk about, which I think is pertinent to your question now, even about somebody like Rihanna, is you don't want to look at it as competing with another artist, because every artist is different and has their own different identity and their different fan bases. And so you want to do you.
Can you just say that for all the people in the back, please? Because I feel like when they come in, that's how they start.
Yeah, I mean, once again, there's different worlds. So like the mixed up culture, you find that in certain worlds you don't. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, most success. I mean, you had Pac and Biggie, you had rivalries that both succeeded, but they weren't really competing with each other, on a for fans. They were competing to make good music at the end of the day. Because and especially now, even in our world now, most people, you're not going to find somebody that listens to one and not the other.
Right.
If somebody appreciates music, they're listening to both, and it can be that way. And as far as fans and re-engaging, and somebody like Rihanna, or even just artists that have been out of it for a little bit and they wanna re-engage. I mean, I think to an extent, it depends on who you had on your team in place to begin with, because I think that the ways that you re-engage fans have changed over the years.
Right.
So, now 5 years ago, there was no TikTok. And nowadays, if you want to re-engage a fan base or release new music, you pretty much have to incorporate TikTok into your plans.
Right.
So in that sense, yeah, I think, somebody on her team, I would hope, has stayed up to date on the new trends and things. So it's, not necessarily changing the team, but definitely it's a constant flow of changes and new platforms and things that are going to come about that you have to put to use in order to market your music.
So are you recommending that Barry Salmon go on TikTok?
I mean, it's a way that you can engage a fan base.
I want to see it. Or the Barry
yeah,
Salmon
I mean,
team?
who knows if it happens or not, And Barris is always going to have his devout, loyal fan base that's not going to go anywhere, and they're going to listen to every song he ever puts out.
They will.
But that's not to say that there isn't a whole other generation that wouldn't appreciate his music but has never heard it.
Right. And Saeed, I want to bring you in on this conversation because it also influences how you market to your clients. So you had corporate clients before, but you've been stepping into entertainment because they've been requesting your services. How do you now, as M1, market these services to fit the entertainment industry? What are a little bit of your plans?
It's a great question. Before, it was really direct marketing, so we have the equipment and we have the capability. So now it was reaching out to the particular movers and shakers within the industry. So I had reached out to Chronix's team. I reached out to Harry J's studio. And for me, that has been working so far. And then the work speaks for itself.
Right.
So this is now, after you have done this project, you have now used the relationship to grow your own brand.
Right.
So
you're making your work speak for itself as you move along into the industry.
And then when you partner with somebody like Chronix, it's not that difficult, especially if you create something that's worthwhile and something that is authentic. Right. People respond to that. And then shortly after, you're going to get those calls. Right. Yo, I loved what you did for Chronix. Can we do something similar? We're not going to do the same thing.
Yeah, we're not going to do the same thing. But yeah.
But we can recreate a similar vision.
Okay. Yeah. Keith, you feel like M1 can facilitate one virtual carnival down at Trinidad?
Oh yeah, come on down, bro.
We're ready, Keith. Virtual, and when the place open up, we're ready to come physically too.
And as you said, Chronix, a little birdie told me that for all the Reggae Wednesday lovers, they may be getting quite a treat from Chronix, and a whole lot of people in our industry really jumped on board for this Reggae Month to ensure that or the audiovisual presence that we have online is great to consume. But as we continue, I want to go back down to Trinidad, Keith, because your lockdown was longer than ours here in Jamaica in terms of flights going in and out of your country. And as Walshy had mentioned in the conversation before, collaboration is a big deal. And whereas for some things, of course, you can always do it virtually. But did you feel like during that time that you had to be there, that it provided some sort of challenge in the work that you were doing?
Uh, yes and no. You know, a lot of people, I mean, everybody went on to Zoom really quickly. You know, you just got to make things happen. You still got to make things. How do we do this? Okay, Zoom, Google Meet, Teams. Everybody's on this stuff now. So I was doing a lot of phone calls, a lot of WhatsApps. You know what I mean? So I think everybody kind of pivoted really quickly to get things done because of the lockdown, and you can move and you can do anything that you wanted. So it worked out.
Okay. And as you mentioned Zoom, because Skype was around before, and I find that during this time I was very disappointed in Skype because boom, Zoom was just all over the place, Microsoft Teams and everything, but I didn't quite see them step up. Based on data, what do you think happened there?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Skype. It's so it's so buggy and spammy. I don't know what's going on. And Zoom just became this thing. And what I loved about Zoom and Google as well, as soon as they saw what was happening, they started to work and they started to push out updates. And you can get this for free now. You can have 200 people on. So I don't know what's going on with
webinars.
I find that it was a great example though of a company that pivoted and a company that had market share before that didn't. Martin, do you think that it will be, as Walshy was pointing out before, and you completely agreed with him, that in this digital space, things are moving so fast and it's definitely a moving audience. Do you think that this will inevitably happen to some players?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I don't know who or why. I don't think any of us do. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's the name of the game: is be ahead of the curve and make sure that you're not the one that gets passed by. Make sure you're not the Skype and you are the Zoom. You know, and that's just that comes from research and preparedness. Like Walshy said, you know, you got to prepare for the worst. And if you don't prepare, then somebody else did, and you're going to get left behind.
Right. Now, we're almost coming to the end. We have less than 10 minutes of our discussion left. And so I want to kind of consolidate it in our final message, because when we've been talking about content a lot, and we're saying that it's the new currency. We have been saying that you have to grind, especially in the entertainment and music industry, because it's that type of industry that you really need to put the work in. I mean, all industries you have to work, but we have a type of grind in entertainment that's different because we never sleep. And even when the industry has been closed in many countries, we were still not sleeping because we're providing content across the globe. Now, for you, Saeed, going forward, what is the big game plan for 2021 into 22?
Yeah,
without, of course, giving us all of your secrets.
Yeah, I mean, definitely we're looking more into the technology and how that can drive the company forward. We're looking into, as I said, doing things more remotely, because I mean, as much as we hope the place is going to open up soon, we do realize that people now have a certain preference in terms of operating remotely as well.
Right.
So it's to kind of cater to those needs. And I mean, just to continue doing good work, and I think good work brings results and brings more work. You know?
Right. It really does bring more work. For Martin, going forward, you have clearly a lot on your plate, and you're planning to do even more with your 4 to 5 more companies and offices. What is the game plan going into 2022? Because 21 is already here.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just growth. Keep moving forward, and I think that's what we're doing. You know, you have to look for new advantages and new benefits that you can offer that other people aren't, and that comes in the form of, you know, new offices and new territories. That comes in the form of looking for different partnerships that are mutually beneficial and beneficial to our client base. That comes in the form of new staff and better staff with you know, able to help our clients, you know, in a more broad capacity. So, you know, at the end of the day, once again, it's just continually evaluating needs and evaluating what we can do better, what we can improve on. Because at the end of the day, nothing's the best, nothing's perfect, and there's always room for improvement and adding on and continuing to grow. So, you know, that's what we're going to keep trying to do.
What are the types of, still with you, Martin, what are the types of collaborations you're looking forward to?
I mean, I think just in general, any collaboration that combines markets and genres, I find extremely interesting and look forward to. Last year, Walshy and I did a project together, actually, which was Jamaica meets Brazil, and the cover art was half a Brazil flag and half a Jamaican flag. And,
Right.
it was just 3 songs. It was kind of a tester to see how it went, but it was a really cool project to be involved with because it was Brazilian artists and Jamaican artists on the same tracks doing, interesting music. And so I think more of that is always going to be something that I look forward to, combining cultures. There's just so many countries out there, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, and then the whole other side of the world. And
Is the Caribbean still your happy place, Martin?
What's that?
Is the Caribbean still your happy place?
It is, yeah, it always will be. And I mean, that's the basis of a lot of the collaborations because, at the end of the day, you talk to somebody from some of these other Latin countries, for example, and they're not really interested in doing something with like a Russian artist. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you start talking about the Caribbean, you start talking about Jamaican artists and soca artists and these genres, and 99% of the time they perk up and they're like, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds like a vibe.
And everybody starts doing this when they hear Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, it's true. They get it. I mean, even you can see it. Even an artist as big as Maluma, he just dropped his project that was based in Jamaica and so much of a Jamaican influence in it. And I mean, that's one of the biggest Latin artists in the world.
You know what? I'm happy that you mentioned that project because I haven't actually seen the video as yet, but I've seen snippets from persons in Jamaica who worked on it. So I see fashion designer, model, set design, and I'm like, yes, this is what we really want to see because it has awakened many parts of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's exposure that you couldn't pay for that exposure. I mean, I don't like to get somebody like Maluma to do that. It almost has to be a passion project, like something that he wants to do, and the amount of exposure that he has gotten for Jamaica and the Caribbean is unmatched, unrivaled.
Quickly from Keith, metadata, all this content. What are you looking at for 22?
Yeah, really trying to educate the Caribbean and the Caribbean artists about getting that metadata for a song. If you write a song, know the splits, know your IPI numbers, have your ISRCs lined up. What are you with a PRO? Do you have a publishing administrator? All these kind of stuff. You want to have that in place because the world really wants to use your music. Netflix and Hulu and all these platforms that are pushing out original content, they need to know that they need to have Jamaican and Caribbean music in their films. Right. Sync licensing can be very, very lucrative, but without that data, they can't. It's very hard for them to license music where they're not clear on the data and clear on the clearances and samples. If there's samples in their music, they need to know that's clear. They need to know who the shares belong to in the song, all the names. Everything has to be together, or else you miss out on opportunities. So my goal is to really start to educate independent artists, especially in the Caribbean, about the importance of this and how much opportunities it can bring if you get it all together.
Thank you so much, Keith. And I want to thank you also to Martin and to Saeed Walshy, who was here. We're up on our time. That's our masterclass for this week. It's a Reggae Open University. I could not go if I did not thank our ROU committee, Iba Cooper, Abishai Hoylett, Mikey Bennett, Dwayne McDonald, Colleen Douglas, Don McDonald, and Computer Paul for coordinating this. Big up to JaRIA, the JaRIA board, the Reggae Month committee, also to our sponsors, Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, the Ministry of Tourism, the Chase Fund, JTB, TEF, CPTC, Java, JCDC, Reggaeville, Rhythm Agency, Surfer Reggae and Reggae Festival Guide, Rhythm Magazine, M1 Productions, Creation Foods, and Ashanti Oasis. Next week at 6 o'clock on a Thursday, there will be Reggae Open University again for another fabulous masterclass. My name is Dania Beckford and I was your moderator. Have a fabulous rest of Reggae Month 2021.
Reggae Month is February. February is Reggae Month. Come catch the rhythm virtually. We gone online totally on Reggae Month TV. Mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries, informative reggae symposia, and lots more. Online daily from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on PBCJ, Jam Vision, JCDC Facebook page, and several other cable and social media platforms. Details available on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, Reggae Month TV. Tune in daily and be entertained and informed.
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view. and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside, where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart, feeling of pure love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat, dancing to the beat up inside your heart. Whoa. Heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat.
Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
Everybody wanna feel.
Presenting highlights of the Children of the Icons concert tour. Children of the Icons. Providing a platform showcasing young and emerging artists in the Jamaican music industry.
Please welcome boss girl, pop, reggae, dancehall, fusion artist, and talented Monifa.
I should stay. I would only be in your way. So I'll go, but I'll know, I'll think of you every step of the way. And with me, so goodbye. Please don't cry. We both know I'm not what you need, and I will always love you. A brand new toy, it fills you up, you want to burst with joy. When you're in love, it's a wonderful thing. Your mind at rest, You wanna try your best, prepare a place in your heart. Sing it, what? Whoa, a place in your heart. What? Open up your heart and let these feelings in. To deny these emotions will be like a sin. Use love and true love I bring to you. We've made a start, so let's never part. Prepare a place in your heart. That's where the love starts. What? Place in your heart. Yeah. Make love your resort. Place in your heart. That's where the love starts. I give it to you sweet on the beat, yeah. Yo! My nights can make me low, but I know my days are brighter. Oh, yes, I know. Child will turn my words to better. So when you are trying to me down, me I go release my love, release my love. So when you are fling your brush, me I go release my love, yeah, release my love. So I'm doing my thing and trying to help myself, but pushing me down, using me for your help. You tell me for your joke, you tell me for your clown. I guess in my face, better me a grin off me mouth. But I'm a need some good vibes. We circle me, it's on the right time. Not because I go take all out of bad vibes. And one erase it. My life can make me low, but I know my days are greater. Oh, yes, I know. Jah will turn my. So when you are trying to turn me down, me I'm gonna release my love, release my love. All you waffling your brush, yeah, yeah, yeah. Release my love. So every other day I go away, I mess with Father God I say, I know negativity can't bother me. Before me back and your face, here on the pearl. No time, but now flop, but now flop like no get up, can't slip and spark. Success and the beat to like a hammer, so bad. What? Emancipation Park. But I know my waves are not. Oh, yes, I know. Way up now. Yeah. You are trying to tear me down. Me, I got release my love. Release my love. No, all you have in your blood, yeah. What? Caution, man. I want you to be careful. Cause the lion belly can't pull. The mama sing me. Like me, I don't be the shame. I'm full. Who me up a permanent disguise. With them to be so scarful. And them people are full, but them no be so scamful. Got them people are full, and my nights and my low, but I know my days are greater. Oh, yes, I know. Jah will turn my. So when you are trying to tear me down, me I'm gonna release my love, release my love. Me I'm gonna release my love, yeah. Listen, find a great body like me here at touch basmati and knock it out like say. Shoes on point like any peak, body firm like me confidence. So me tell Michelle Obama with my speak, my sweet man a knock on me door. See this a trick, not treat. So if you want hold me down, in the oven you have your what? You have your what? I have your J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, I have your J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, I'm more best, I'm more here, I'm more host, I'm more shoes. I have your J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, now I'm not a gold liquor, me just a fox springer. Now I'm me a drop buffer, you a drop ping. Boss lady work hard for me things. See my current a flow good, but the years of shots, cause you lock things. But you're not see me, you never heard but I'm them. And you never count me with your dirty. Whoa, J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, I'll have your J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, I'm more bed, I'm more here, I'm more house, I'm more shoes, I'm a wild, I'm a wild, I'm a wild, I'm a wild. J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, I'll have your J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, I'm more bed, I'm more here, I'm more house, I'm more shoes, I'm a wild, I'm a wild, I'm a wild, I'm a wild. J-O-B. If you wanna be with me, I'll have your J-O-B. If you wanna be